Hello you guys, Dead Spikes here. Today I will be making a video about the fun hardcore experience I have been having on the new world that I made. I've never played hardcore Minecraft, so I figured I would just try it out. If you guys didn't know, I do play a lot of Minecraft on the side. When I'm not playing my normal games that I do when I stream, I'm always playing Minecraft, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. And while playing Minecraft, I have watched a few videos from Luke the Notable. He's a pretty awesome YouTuber and very entertaining. I really liked his style of videos, and I figured I wanted to try them for myself. I was very inspired, and this is my attempt at it. So hopefully I can make it good for you guys. So let's get right into the video. Starting this series off on day 0, I ended up spawning in a savanna with some acacia wood. We made a boat from the wood we found. We grabbed a little bit of kelp, and then I used a biome finder to find where a swamp is on this seed, a decent sized one, because I like living in swamps to be able to farm slimes easily to make mechanisms later in the world. Now this is a long journey. I figured out the swamp is about 6,000 blocks away, so this is just the start of this long adventure to find home. Around 2,000 blocks in, I had to end up landing at the snowy mountains over here. I started panicking a little bit because I had no food around to eat. There was no wildlife. There was not even really fish. There was no plants. I was having a tough time, and I did think I might starve to death. And then I happened to roll across a village up there, which you can see in the corner. I was a little skeptical. I didn't know what the building was. I didn't want it to be pillagers or something, but I ended up investigating it. After coming into the village, I didn't really see much farms or anything, but it was turning night, so I decided to lay my head for the night. Went inside this nice snow house and slept, and that is the end of day 0. Still on the panic for food, I found one piece of bread in the village. I ended up backtracking a little bit looking for food. I found this pond, and I figured this is my last attempt at food if I was to find any at all. I got lucky to find 2 fish hiding underneath the ice, which is going to make it so I can eat to proceed on my long journey ahead of me. On my way out of the village, I noticed there was a little bit of plants on the outskirts that I did not see, which is great and very helpful for the food crisis situation I was currently going through. Was trying to use my food very productively and only use it when I was down the certain amount of food that the food was going to replenish. So I waited to eat my fish until my food was low enough to where it would max me out. Stopped and grabbed a little bit of coal. Along our journey, we did happen to run into a second village where we just pillaged them and grabbed all of their crops and a few of their smokers and devices that they had. That way I did not have to make them later on. It was a very helpful village, to be honest. I wish there was some sort of library in one of these villages to help me get an enchanting table later on. Sadly, I have not found one yet. As you can see, I got my free smoker right here. We ended up stopping in a little cave by the village that we saw. With some zombies to kill. Pretty terrified about going down here. And we go down just to look for a little bit of resources. We did find some iron. I believe we found quite a bit of iron. I ended up proceeding into the cave a little bit until I saw a skeleton, and I was out of there extremely fast because I know skeletons are extremely scary. Then I saw a creeper, and I was really out of there. I was not playing around at all. We ended the day with just smelting the little bit of iron I did find, making some food, and getting ready for our long journey. I just simply went to sleep to not have to worry about the night at all. At the start of day 2, I did a little bit more caving, looking around, seeing if we could grab a little bit more iron, maybe get some armor. purposely set off the creeper because I was not playing with it. I'm not used to Java, and Java creepers are a lot harder to deal with because you have the charge bar. I did find me some more iron. At the end of the day, after we did our mining, did all of our caving, fought some mobs, we ended up making enough iron to make iron tools and iron armor, which is good. It will make it safer for us to proceed. I did a little bit more mining until it turned it out to be night as I was proceeding towards our coordinates that we had set. Once it turned night, I just ended up laying my head in some random hill, going to sleep, keeping the night away. There was not a whole lot recorded on day 3 at all, but basically I just ran 2,000 blocks straight. Nothing very exciting happened. On day 4, as I was proceeding towards my swamp, I ran into a jungle, which is a pain in the butt to try to maneuver through, being that I'm just trying to get to the other side of it. I did take a lot of fall damage. It was kind of scary. I'm glad there was no mobs around to mess me up. After an extremely long 6,000 block journey, it took about 5 days of running. We finally get to the coordinates we are looking for. And there it is. You can see it right there. Beautifully, we have came across our swamp. There was a village close by too, which is awesome. So I have a swamp and a village. I did not plan for that, but it was nice to see. I'm basically just scouting around the swamp, figuring out where I want to live in this swamp. Not soon after, it turned night, and I have not found my location yet, so I just simply went to sleep. A little bit of a funny story here. I went for a little dinner break. As I went for a dinner break, I played some music for the stream. When I played music for the stream, the song All Star came on. When the song All Star came on, some of the chat was singing along with it, and it made me think of Shrek. And I thought to myself, what better way to live in a swamp than to play as Shrek? So I switched my skin to Shrek on day 5, and we had a start of a good day. After we found our house location, we spent a very long time just simply terraforming, trying to flatten it out and make it a safe environment for me to live in. As you can see, I am just placing dirt everywhere, trying to make a big flat location for me to live and farm on. It did take quite a while. This location was small to begin with. It took a whole day's worth, to be honest, and I still didn't feel like I was set and ready to live there yet. I figured out I forgot my bed when I ended up finding my house, so I had to go hunt some sheep quick. I was very scared because I did not feel equipped at all to be able to handle any mobs at night, skeletons and zombies and creepers and such. So I quickly made my bed and tried to lay down as quick as possible while also watching my surroundings. And that is the end of day 5. At the start of day 6, we saw our first slime. They only spawn at night, but luckily I was alive enough in the night to make one spawn. We got our first set of slime balls to start with our mechanisms, which is great. And we basically spent a lot of the day again terraforming and building our flat location to live at. Just more and more and more terraforming. Literally another whole day's worth practically. I really wanted this place to look nice. I had a lot of ideas. In this clip, you can kind of see how large I started making it with all that dirt I was placing. I was starting to make a bigger location for to live at, which was my goal. I had to take out a lot of the trees around too, because trees are very scary to deal with mobs. And that is already starting to look large. I'm excited to see what we do. Day 7 was sadly not recorded, but basically all we did was we started on our house. We made our house and we put a little garden around the house. You can't really see it, but I put some water reservoirs underneath my house on the perimeter. That way you just couldn't see it, but it would still make the crops grow. Pretty decent looking house. One of the best ones I have made for a starter house in my opinion. The logs, I think, give it a nice touch. We started planting our pumpkin farm. My big plan is to have pumpkin pies as my main food source, so we have to start growing our pumpkins early. We did a little bit more pothole filling in, grabbed a lot more dirt, and we finished out day 8 after building a nice house and finishing up our area a little bit more. Day 9 was mostly spent just setting up our mine. I was digging my tunnel down to start mining for diamonds and other resources. When I was mining, I happened to stroll across a spawner, which is pretty insanely lucky. I was really shocked. I just found a random zombie spawner. After dealing with some of the zombies that spawned, I looted out the chest. I found a curse of vanishing, which I have never heard of before, but apparently it does something like it makes the tool that's equipped with it disappear on death. Obviously not important to me at all, but still a strange artifact to find. On top of finding a spawner, it was hooked up to an abandoned mine shaft. I was really surprised at this point now. We not only found a spawner, we found a abandoned mine shaft with it. Great for resources. I spent pretty much the whole night just grabbing the iron and coal I could find around the area. After going through the area a little bit, I got quite a bit of iron. I was super stoked. We found an underwater cave as well, the ones with the magma blocks underneath and such. I was too terrified to even try going into it. That's kind of what that's hooked up to there. On my way back, I happened to see diamond. So on day 9, we got our first set of diamonds. Here's a little look at the underwater cave I was talking about. I was extremely terrified and did not want to deal with it at all. On my way out of the mine, I wanted to make my stairway down a little bit wider. That way I could place some stairs on it. I had some friends waiting for me once I did get up to the top. I'm glad one of them was a slime, but I didn't want to deal with any more zombies after doing all of that abandoned mine shaft hunting. So we get a little bit more slime balls to help us a little bit later. This is the whole reason I came to a swamp, is just to get slimesies. So I'm quite happy on finding this much this early. It ended up being quite a terrifying night. I was not sure what to do. My bed was quite a ways away on the little crafting area I was using, nowhere near my house. I did not know what to do. A lot of the chat did think I was dying as well. I was extremely terrified, and I thought this was the end of everything I was doing. On top of that, as you saw, I did not have space to pick up my bed after I break it because of all the stuff I got, so I had to throw out a name tag just to be able to run to my house and lay down my head and end the night. After that terrifying day 9, we came back up to a lot of our crops grown, so we just started basically farming. I found some nearby cows, so I ended up making a cow pen the way that I like to. I use a ladder to get in and out. I had to make an area so the cows could get up and go into the pen. After a little bit of searching, we found our first cow to bring into the pen. Wasn't too far away, and gladly the AI worked nice with me and he went right into the pen. We pretty much called it a night right there. I did not want to play around with the mobs yet. I did not feel suited and I did not feel the need, so I just simply went to sleep. We ended up finding our second cow not too far away and tried bringing her back. After a little bit of following, I did get the cow into the pen and we started the breeding. My next goal was to grab some chickens and make a pen. I found quite a few chickens. I got around 7. I got a little bit confused on my way home, and I wasn't really wanting to find it with all these chickens following me since it was already turning to night. So instead of bringing the chickens all the way home, I ended with just ditching them and running my way home. Sorry, chickens, don't worry, I will come back for you. I just simply do not have enough time right now. Luckily, I did end up finding my house fairly quickly. I had a good guess after getting turned around a little bit, and we just went to sleep and ended the night. After retracing our steps and finding the chickens, we were only able to get 6 back instead of the 7, but 6 is a pretty good number. It's enough to make 3 baby chickies. We made our pen up here with the hoppers, that way we can auto collect the eggs. Thankfully, with all the iron we found in the abandoned mine shaft, we were able to make this mechanism fairly easy. We put some trapdoors so the chickens didn't notice them and they just fell right in. And there's the last one. After they got in there, I just bred them all pretty quickly and started the chicken farm. We ended up finally putting a floor in our house. I went with stone brick because I thought it just looked nice and it was pretty easy to get. After I built the floor, I was able to bring all of my stuff over and have an actual home for once. It was nice, and I felt a lot more safe. After building some stuff, I was starting to feel like I was going to burn through resources fairly quickly, so I went down to the abandoned mine shaft and started mining on day 13. We did find some more diamonds, which was great, helped us make a little bit of armor. And we set up our stairs all the way back up and just simply went to bed right away. Did not want to deal with mobs. Day 14 was just spent simply mining and mining. This was one of the days where I did realize it's nice to play Java instead of Bedrock for once, because you get to put your torches on your other hand and you don't have to switch between them to use them. And I did find a little bit more diamonds. Just spent mining, and more mining was pretty much all the night. We did have a nice little scare. I seen this weird pathway down. I wasn't sure what it was, so I checked it out. But while I was checking it out, I was a little bit creeped out, and I got snuck up on by some skeletons. Quite a few skeletons, as you can see. I was really panicking. I did not know what to do. And luckily, somehow, I lived with a half of heart. Extremely close call. All they needed to do was hit me one more time. Day 15 was spent pretty much mining as well. We got some obsidian to make a portal, and some of the devices we are going to make we will need obsidian for. So we just grinded out a little bit of obsidian. We ended up making our portal at the end of day 15. We did not have enough time to explore it, and I did not have a bow yet, so I ended up just going to sleep rather than starting to explore. Right when we woke up, we went straight into the Nether and checked it out. I do not exactly like the spawn that I was given. It's about as close as you can get to spawning above a lava pool nowadays, but luckily there was no gas around to give me a hard time. I do what I always like to do, and I cover the portal in cobblestone, because I believe cobblestone cannot be touched by gas. We were just coming here just for a few resources. I really just wanted quartz to start out with to make some observers. I wasn't here to find another castle or nothing crazy, so we kind of just grabbed what we needed and got out of there. After getting the quartz for observers, I was able to start on working on my pumpkin farm. That night, I went and hunted a few slimes to get more slime balls for some other farms I will need to make. First night, I even really went out hunting, to be honest. As you can see, there was a lot of slimes out, which was great. I played it as safe as possible and took out all the creepers I could, but I got very lucky with how many slimes spawned. After pretty much finishing setting up the top portion of my pumpkin farm, I had to go set up the bottom. For those of you who have not used redstone much, you probably didn't know that a minecart with a hopper can pick up items above it. So we set up a railroad system underneath the pumpkins. Pistons will break the pumpkins by pushing them into the stems every time they grow, and the minecart underneath will grab them and throw them into the chest you see right there. Pretty nice pumpkin farm, very efficient. So far we have our egg farm, our cow farm, and our pumpkin farm set up. Just like the prior night, most of the night was spent farming slimes, trying to get more slime balls to make the machines I want to. After a few days of throwing eggs into the chicken pen, you can see we started to get a large amount of chickens producing eggs quickly for us. Day 18, we finally started making the biggest farm on my world so far, the Sugarcane Farm. Now this thing is going to be gigantic, and I spend lots and lots of days working on it, especially being that I am not used to Java mechanics, I am used to Bedrock mechanics. We spend most of the day grabbing wood, grabbing dirt, and just placing it for that farm we are trying to make. Again, we spent pretty much all of day 19 farming out a lot of dirt with shovels and placing our sugarcane farm, starting to make this giant mechanism. Getting towards the end of the day, and I'm still just placing dirt and placing dirt. Not too much of an exciting day, but quite productive in my perspective. Day 20, it makes it look like I'm actually getting somewhere looking at this sugarcane farm. Finally looking like something is happening. Again, we spent pretty much the whole day making the sugarcane farm, making mechanisms, looking through our really unorganized chests, and we just went to sleep and ended the day. Day 21, and I bet you can't guess what we're doing, are still working on this sugarcane farm. I am going to finish making this. It is my goal now. We have plenty of days put into making this mechanism, and it will happen. For those of the people that are wondering how I made this, at the very bottom of it, I set two observers watching each other to give an infinite redstone tick in front of a dispenser. The dispenser is set to the side with a hopper. The hopper will grab all of the sugarcane, put it into the dispenser, and the dispenser will keep shooting it into a water stream that will bring it into the top to put it into a chest. Day 22 is spent on the farm as well. We are still trying to make it and make it. We got the mechanism done on the bottom, thankfully. Now we're pretty much just dealing with the water flow right now. Placing all the water and getting it set up. All the grass is growing, and it's starting to look like something is happening here. Towards the end of day 22, I went and farmed a buttload of sand because I like to surround my mechanisms in glass. That way you can see what's happening from any location, make sure it is working correctly, or just to show off to some people. I did try to go find some slimes to farm for the night. I don't really need any more slime balls currently, but I like to have them saved up for anything else I plan on making. But it was a crappy night for finding slimes, so I just headed to bed. Day 23, I made my first auto smelter to help with all the glass making that I went and tried to start doing. It was pretty cool. I showed some of the chat on how it works for the people that have never saw it before. As you can see, our cow farm is starting to increase dramatically. We haven't been farming a whole lot while working on this sugarcane, so you can see all my crops are growing on the sides as well. We have been saving up lots of pumpkins while this all is going on. And after a long day of just putting down more water and setting up some stuff, I tried to make my first flying machine. Now, I have made flying machines before, but as I have said a few times, I come from Bedrock, so I tried using the Bedrock flying machine I'm used to making, and sadly it didn't end up working at all. At the night, we ended up farming more slimes. It was pretty nice, a good rewarding night. Was glad to see so many, because sadly the night before we didn't get anything. You can see the first mechanism I tried making right here. This is my first attempt at a flying machine, and again, this is exactly how you make it on Bedrock, but it does not work on Java, sadly. I was getting quite frustrated, and I feel like I was wasting my time. I was not giving up, so I kept trying different mechanisms on day 25 till I figured out what I need to be using. Day 26, I figured out I needed some glowstone to make some redstone lamps for the mechanism I wanted to use instead. So I went to the Nether with the extra slime blocks I got and grabbed a bunch of glowstone. I don't know if you've ever really used slime blocks much, but they work a lot like scaffolding, and they instant break if you hit them with absolutely anything. So they're kind of nice for building, almost dangerous. You can kill yourself from falling, but check this out. Just instantly broke it all. Grabbed all my glowstone, and now we're working on the next flying machine. After an extreme amount of trial and error with many different mechanisms, I spent the whole last 2 days pretty much working on them. We finally got a nice working flying machine like so. It is the start of the process we want to be doing. If you're not comfortable with slime blocks again, basically the way that they work is if they are moved, they bring everything they are touching with them. You have to make sure that the flying machine is in the air to be able to make it even work, because it will try to grab the ground. We are just putting the wings on this nice flying machine, and I think you kind of get what is happening. Day 27, we're already at the night of day 27. We pretty much just planted a whole lot and did some farming. Finally setting up our flying machine sugarcane farm. I did travel a little bit just to find a lot more sugarcane to try to max out the farm. That is the chest that it will all be going into. This is day 28, but I forgot to switch the timer over. I was noticing the sugarcane was getting flown off the edge, so I had to make some catchers on the end. And it was spent between that and farming a lot of dirt. Day 28 was just basically farming and playing with this sugarcane farm more and more. We've spent around 12 days on this so far. Day 29 again spent working on the rebound spot of this sugarcane farm, figuring out how I want to set it all up. Pretty cool to watch this flying machine go back and forth though. And we did put up glass walls around it, as you can see, to try to funnel everything in. And we are on the final day of this video. It is day 30. Day 30 was mostly spent just mining for materials after all of that sugarcane nonsense, and we finally set up the machine to work perfectly how I want it to. We are really lacking the iron. It used a lot of iron to make all of the devices I needed to use that farm. So hopefully I will find a lot of iron and get my supply up to make some more mechanisms like the one you guys just saw. At the night of day 30, I did go farm more and more slimes, because one can never have too many slime balls. They're great for building, they're great for mechanisms, they're great for quick building, as you saw that I used in the Nether. They're just an amazing resource. Make sticky pistons, and so on and so on. And that is the end of this video, guys. If you enjoyed this series, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel for some more on this series. Leave a comment about what you thought of this video. Did you like this style of video that I made? I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you have a wonderful day. Spikes out.